So what is up, guys? It's Gabe Trades, owner of VVS Investments, and in this video, I'm gonna break down an A+ technical setup with an ICT concept on a name that you're all pretty familiar with, and that is the good old Tesla. We have a A+ setup on Tesla going forward. This is a trade that we still need a couple things to develop for us to take this trade and for us to have a solid risk to reward on this trade. But these are things that will be dropped in the Discord over the coming days. You guys on YouTube, we're gonna get I'm gonna give you guys the setup, why it's A+. Okay, but first, as we do every single week, we start with the broad market recap. Broad market, SPY, QQQ, we had a quick sell-off last week to end the week. I call this healthy. This was an extremely healthy pullback. Some people would call it mean reversion. Some people would call it retracement. I don't know what you call it. I don't really care what you call it. Just call it healthy, because the market was long overdue for this. Now, I think we could have more consolidation. I think we could have more contraction, if you will, back to these highs. In my opinion, that would be the most healthy. Maybe back to these highs. The market could start to structure from there. But as far as SPY and QQQ go, there's nothing for me here right now. Okay. There's nothing here for me right now. But that's not to say that things could change in the future. Okay. Sorry, my neighbors, they just moved in. They're up there hammering shit into the ceiling. So if you made it this far, I need you to comment hammer in the comments, because they're up there just smacking shit in the ground. Okay. It's super loud. You all probably heard that. QQQ, same thing. We had that pullback, that quick retracement. All these longs finally got stopped out. All these long, we're going to keep going on this video even though they're doing that. All these longs got stopped out. We could use some more healthy pullback on QQQ. Something back into here, just like on SPY. Again, no action. As a swing trader, I am sitting on my hands just like I've been for the last week or two. We've got clear reason to sit on our hands and wait for things to really shape up again. Now, let's get into the setup on Tesla. For those of you that are in the Discord and you trade with me, you know that we trade ICT setups. We trade high probability, fair value gap inverses. Why do we like these so much? Well, they just are one of the highest probability setups in the entire market. You're not going to see too many setups out there that hit at 70, 75, 80%. And that should be the bare minimum when you're trading inverse fair value gaps and you're trading them with the correct criteria. Okay? If you have questions about the correct criteria, shoot me a message. I'll be sure to hop on a call with you and kind of fill you in on the criteria that makes these setups A+. Or you can just stick around in this video because I'm about to explain it, because we have a setup right here. The first thing as an ICT trader is we have to figure out where the liquidity pools are. Okay, and one of the best ways to draw your liquidity pools is these trend lines. Retail traders love trend lines, right? And if you're wondering what a liquidity pool is, it's basically where the stop losses are, where a retail trader's stop loss is. They like to place them below lows, like support levels, like here would be one, They like to place them below trend lines. That is a key liquidity pool. And in my opinion, we stopped out a lot of these longs that were trading on this trend line below. We ran some stops last week. We also ran the stop right here below this candle. So anybody that placed their long right there on a higher low, they got stopped out. Their stops got ran. They got wrecked. Okay. So we found some sell side liquidity last week. Love to see that. Love to see that sell side liquidity getting wrecked and ran through. Here's the other thing we've got with this setup, and why this one, in my opinion, is just textbook. This right here is a Past fair value gap. Past fair value gap. I'll shrink that just a little bit. We're delivering from a past fair value gap on the higher time frame of the daily chart. We didn't violate it here. We violated it with a wick, but we closed above it with the body. We got to keep an eye for more bodies to close above this fair value gap because it validates it. It makes us know that the market's respecting this gap in price, okay? And then it's free to move higher. The other thing we've got here, and I've already got it drawn out here on these lines, is a fair value gap above, a bearish fair value gap. This is the one we're looking to inverse, guys. If we can inverse this, close candle above that recent bearish fair value gap, well, now we're looking for a V-shaped recovery to the highs. Now we're looking for a move up here to take half our profit off, and then we'll leave runners up to 330 for the other half. That's the trade thesis. And if you want my live callouts, I'm dropping them in the Discord all week. I'll be basically hand picking these for people, but also I'll be going over the setup throughout the day and then throughout the week and kind of where I'm looking to get in, where I'm looking to place my risk, and also how I'm looking to exit out of this thing with clean profit. So there you go. Check those boxes, guys, and I'll write them down right here. Just some things that really make this, solid. Draw on liquidity. Draw on sell side liquidity. Okay? Beautiful. The next thing we get is delivery. Go ahead and make another one. Delivering from a fair value gap on higher time frame. Okay? And then the other thing we have is potential. We'll call it potential. Is a potential fair value gap inversion. Now, as far as these three things go, A+, beautiful, beautiful look. Here's how we know where to place our targets, our price targets above, okay? It is helpful to go onto a lower time frame. And I'm going to clear these out so it's really simple here. Okay, we're going to go to the 1 hour. Well, first I want to show you guys on the 4 hour. Doesn't really matter much because we're looking for a close above these, but then we go to the smaller time frame, and here's how I find my targets, okay? This is clear target for me to target some highs, something here. Stop loss would be, take profit would be around this trend line right here. And then I leave runners to see if this thing can't go to 330 all the way to the top right here. But first take profits right here, 320. Let some runners go to 330 and see if this thing plays out. Clear levels above. That's another thing we love to see in a setup like Tesla. But again, that's an ICT concept. It's called a bearish fair value gap. If you have any questions about this or this doesn't make perfect sense to you, shoot me a message, okay? I will hop on a call with you and help walk you through this setup and exactly what to look for in a setup like this. Again, this is very high probability. In the Discord, I'll keep this one updated. But my eyes, they're centered on Tesla this week, guys.